mbele.
Right, let's now get you started on that conversation that we promised you about sports and people who are abled differently, or people with disabilities, as you might know. And of course, this is a great conversation that we have lined up for you. And to help us put this into perspective this morning, of course, I'm joined by Dalmas Otieno. He's the captain of the National Amputee National Team. Good morning, Dalmas.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
All right, we're also expecting that James Onyiko Mangerere is a field event athlete, will also join us, and will also be joined virtually by, that is Agnes Olwoch. She's the president of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee. But even as we wait for them to join us, we want you to be part of that conversation by engaging us on social media, on Twitter, at NTV Kenyan, at Victor Kiprop _. You can also send your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You could also call in on the numbers which will be below your screen in a short while. And of course, we ask you our question of the day: how can Kenya increase opportunities and participation for people living with disabilities? How can Kenya increase opportunities and participation for people living with disabilities in sports? Once again, you can send that feedback on social media. Use the hashtag #NewNormal on Twitter, at NTV Kenyan, at Victor Kiprop _. You can send the same on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where we are currently streaming live. You could also call in on the numbers which will be below your screen in a short while. Looking forward to your feedback. But even as we do that, let's bring in Kapi. Mambo vipi?
Poa sana.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Kabla tuingie kwa mambo ya World Cup na African Cup na mambo mingi ambayo unafanya na wewe kuwa captain.
Yes.
Naomba tuanze nyuma kidogo. Tusikie kwanza story yako kabla tujafika leo. Huyu, kwa sababu sisi tunajua tu captain, tunajua Kapi.
Kweli.
Kama vile tunaona kwa hiyo story.
Yes.
Anatupa promises ya World Cup na African Cup.
Yes.
Lakini kabla akwe Kapi, Dalmas alikuwa nani? Wacha tuanzie hapo.
Majina ni Dalmas Otieno.
Yeah.
Nimezaliwa Thika, pale kijiji ya Kiandutu slum pale. Nimegrow pale. Went to school at Joytown Primary School hapo Thika. Kisha baadaye nikaenda katika shule ya upili kule Mombasa, inaitwa Mombasa School for the Physically Handicapped. Nikamaliza pale secondary school, and then nikaanza kuhustle. Yes.
Mwaka gani?
Nimemaliza shule 2003. Kwa hivyo chumvi nimekula kidogo.
Chumvi kidogo.
Yes.
Na mambo ya sports ukaanza ama ulianza kupenda hata kitambo kwa mdogo?
Sports nimeanza nikiwa pale shule. Maanake tulikuwa na inter-school games za shule za watu walemavu.
Yeah.
Maanake kuna shule pale Thika, kuna shule Kisumu, Mombasa, sehemu mbalimbali za nchi. So tulikuwa tuna games zetu pia. Wale watu abled, wakijiita abled, wako na game zao, pia sisi tulikuwa na zetu pale shuleni. Yes.
Okay, lakini duru za kuaminika zinaniambia pia ulikuwa unafanya mambo mengine kando na michezo kama dance nini?
Yes. Actually, kabla sijaanza kucheza mpira, ile amputee football officially, nilikuwa nafanya dance. Hata sasa nafanya dance, lakini kidogo sasa. Yes.
Okay. Lakini wacha nikurejeshe tena nyuma kidogo kama utaniruhusu swali hili, kwa sababu kwa wengine kuna wale wanazaliwa wakiwa hivyo, alafu kuna wale wanajipata kama kwa one or something here or there, wanajipata kwa hiyo situation kama ni ugonjwa ama ni ajali. Wacha tusikie kutoka kwako kwanza.
Yangu ulemavu wangu ulitokana na ajali barabarani. Nilikuwa katika umri wa miaka 5 peke yake.
5 years.
Yes. So nilikuwa nacheza na wenzangu pale, unajua kawaida watoto.
Yeah.
Kutoroka nyumbani kwenda barabarani kucheza. Saa bahati mbaya kuna gari ili lose control.
Pole.
Nikiwa pale hiyo Garissa highway pale. Ile barabara kuna Garissa ile. Gari ka lose control ikanipata, nilikuwa kando ya barabara. Ikaja ikanigonga na ndipo nikapoteza mguu. Yes.
Okay. Pole sana. Lakini sasa ile tofauti ni kwamba wewe uliweza kujipick up from where you are na ukaweza kujiendeleza mpaka mahali uko sasa.
Kweli, yeah. I think uzuri ni kwamba nilikuwa mtoto. Unajua sasa kule nimegrow na ulemavu. Na katika growth yangu, nilikuwa sijioni mlemavu, manake wale watoto tulikuwa nao tulicheza games zote. Hizi bano tulicheza nao pamoja, hizi blada, games zote za utotoni nilicheza na wao. Na nilikuwa sitaki sana kuchukuliwa kama extra, manake unajua pata kama ni 5 upande hiyo wanasema wacha tuchukue Dalmas awe extra. Nilikuwa sipendi. Nilikuwa kama ni 5 pia mimi pande mwingine watu 5. So nilikuwa nataka encourage sana na pia wale na encourage, maana nilikuwa nacheza kama wale wengine kabisa, hakulikuwa na tofauti yoyote. Yes.
Mkapelekana kabisa.
Kabisa. Yes.
Sasa mambo ya dance ulifika kukaachia wapi?
Dance sijaacha. Tuseme nilipunguza moto kidogo wakati nilianza kucheza mpira. Manake hata sasa tuseme wiki 2 zilizopita nilikuwa na performance pale Kibira hapo Rowan Camp. Kwa hivyo tuseme ni muda tu nimekosa kufanya mambo zote kwa pamoja, lakini nafanya kidogo kidogo, mpira pande kidogo, dance pande kidogo. So nachanganya zote mbili.
Okay.
Yes.
Unajua sasa tofauti yako na mimi, sisi wote tunacheza mpira, lakini mimi yangu nacheza huko lower Kabete, ni ile ya wazee tunapiga vumbi.
Kweli.
Wewe ulijipata aje kwa professional football?
Well, professional football tuseme ni kibahati. Manake amputee football imeanza hapa Kenya mwaka wa 2010. Bahati nzuri tulipata jamaa moja kutoka Uturuki. Ambaye alikuwa anafanya mafunzo alikuwa coach tuseme wa timu ya taifa ya Uturuki. Na akaona kwamba amepostiwa hapa Kenya kikazi. Na alikuwa aishi hapa kwa muda fulani. Na since alikuwa kule Turkey ana coach amputee football, akaonelea kwamba ni vyema atafute amputees kama mimi, atuweke pamoja, aanzishe timu. So tulikuwa tumeanza na timu inaitwa Valentines Amputee Football Club, na ndio ilikuwa ya kwanza kabisa hapa Kenya. Na kwa muda mfupi tukawa wengi. So and then pia game ika grow up from Nairobi, ikaenda Mombasa, ikaenda Kisumu, ikaenda sehemu mbalimbali. Professional football nayo imekuja katika mwaka 2014. 2014.
Kwa hivyo miaka 7 na
miaka 7 hivi tuseme. Manake coach wangu alipostaafu hapa Kenya, alitoka Kenya akapostiwa I think Pakistan. Akachukua mimi na mwenzangu pia anaitwa Daniel Safari. Akasema nyinyi mna talanta, acha napeleke kule Uturuki, kuna ligi mnaweza mkacheza kule. Sasa ndio ilianza hivyo. Yes.
Alafu national team?
National team tuseme since 2010. Manake tulipoanza clubs tukaform pia national team. But nzuri tukafanya our first international tournament in 2013. Tulifanya Africa Cup of Nations ilikuwa hapa Kenya. 2013. 2013, yes. And then 2014 tukaenda in our first World Cup ambayo ilikuwa kule Mexico. And then 2018 pia tukaenda World Cup Mexico pia. So tumejaribu kuinua jina ya Kenya internationally.
Mimi performance ya 2018 ndio nakumbuka, lakini ya 2014 ilikuwaje?
Ya 2014 ilikuwa ngumu, maana yake ilikuwa mara yetu ya kwanza kabisa kucheza tournament yoyote. Tulikuwa tuna experience, tulikuwa tuna professional players. Lakini kwa sasa tuko na experienced players kama mimi hapa. Na kuna wengine 3 pia kwa sasa wako Turuki. Walisafiri last week. Maana yake kuna ligi inaendelea sasa ya Federation Cup ya Turkey. And then after hapo sasa ndio ligi itaanza.
Okay.
So 3 wote sasa wako Turkey. Ndio wanangangana na hizo mechi sasa.
Okay.
Yes.
Wacha tuzungumze kuhusu Tanzania mwezi ujao.
Yes.
Itakuwaje?
Tanzania tuko na imani. Team iko sawa, tulifanya uchaguzi wa team last week. Tuko na kikosi cha watu 30 players ambao ni wengi lakini wote ni wazuri. Ndio maana tulichagua watu 30. Maana yake tulifanya zile championships zetu pale City Stadium. Na ikawa lazima tuchague watu 30 ndio at least tuingie kwenye camp. Alafu katika watu 30 tutabaki na watu 12. Wale watawakilisha Kenya kule Tanzania. Yes.
Kwa mtu ambaye afahamu team pale, kwa sababu kama ile kawaida inakuanga watu 11.
Yes.
Inakuanga kama watu wangapi?
Ya mpira yetu inacheza na watu 7 kila upande.
7 kila upande.
7 kila upande. Goalkeeper anafaa kuwa na mkono mmoja. Wachezaji wale wa ndani pale wanafaa kuwa na mguu mmoja.
Okay.
Na si lazima pia maybe hiyo ni sheria ya mpira wetu. Na si lazima kwamba uwe ni amputated. Inaweza kuwa maybe ni mguu uko hafifu.
Okay.
Lakini wakati unacheza mpira huo mguu hautumii kabisa. Hata wakati hauna mpira huo mguu haufai kukanyaga chini. Sheria mpya hiyo pia.
Kwa hivyo ukinipigia pasi hata kama ni hafifu lakini niisimamishe nayo inakuwa
hiyo ni foul.
Foul.
Okay. Maana sasa unajua kama mimi sasa nina mmoja. So natumia mguu mmoja kila wakati. Ukitumia miwili inakuwa disadvantage pande yangu. Yes.
Na umesema keeper ni
goalkeeper anatumia mkono mmoja peke yake. Kwa hivyo hata kama mkono mmoja upo lakini lazima aingize ndani ya nguo ama iweze kufungwa na akiguza na huo mkono tu penalty.
Tutajaribu kupata picha maybe kwa wale ambao wafahamu zaidi, tunaweza jaribu kupata picha tuweze kucheza hewani alafu waone. Lakini tukiendelea basi sasa kuonyesha watu 7 upande mmoja, watu 14 mechi nzima. Dakika ni ngapi?
Dakika ni 25 kila nusu.
Kila half. Okay.
Kila half, yeah.
Lakini kawaida ni extras zile za kawaida, penalty nini?
Kama maybe ni tournament, kuna extra time. Nakumbuka kule 2018 tulicheza na Ireland. Tukatoka sare ya 1-1. Ikabidi tuende katika extra time dakika 10 kila nusu. And then ikitoka sare pia mnaenda penalty. Yes.
Naomba turudi Tanzania. Tanzania siku November 20th, yeah?
November 26 inaanza.
26 to tarehe 5 Disemba.
Tarehe 5 Disemba.
Aha. Yes. Matarajio ni yapi? Matarajio
ni kwamba Kenya itaweza kuwa bingwa wa Afrika. Ingawaje tuko nyuma kidogo na wakati. Tulifanya our trials 2 weeks ago. Tumechagua team sasa. Shida kubwa ni kwamba hatujenge kambini.
Nilikuwa nikuuliza hilo swali kwa sababu unajua hata sisi Arsenal kila season tunasemanga tutashinda. Lakini vile mtaperform inategemea na vile mmeprepare. Na umesema mmechelewa kuingia kambini.
Yes. Tumechelewa manake tulikuwa tuna fedha za kufanya zile championship zetu za kuchagua timu ya taifa. Tukawa na mfadhili ambaye alikuja on board akatufadhili, tukafanya championships. Kwa sasa tunaomba kwamba serikali itaweza kufanya jambo la maana, wakuje on board pia, wachukue timu sasa, maana tuko 30 players na wote ni wazuri. Tungechagua hata 20 lakini tukasema acha tuchague 30. Katika 30 tuchague 12 bora. Maana wote ni wazuri. Kama uliwatch hiyo tournament, talent imejaa pale. Imejaa.
Kumaanisha talent sio shida.
Talent sio shida kabisa.
Na tutarejelea zali changamoto ambazo mko nazo, mambo ya kifedha, ukosefu wa wafadhili na nyinginezo. Lakini pale mkienda Tanzania ni nani ambaye ndio tishio kubwa? Tishio
kuna nchi kama 3 ama 4 hivi. Angola ambao ndio mabingwa wa dunia. Wale wazuri sana. Maana kama sasa wako kule Afrika Kusini kambini kwa miezi 2 sasa. Kuna nchi Ghana. Maana Ghana sasa wale wachezaji wao wote wanacheza kule Turkey. Ni professional players wote. Kabisa. And then kuna Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone ndio nchi ya kwanza kabisa Afrika kucheza amputee football. Waanzilishi wa mchezo wa Afrika. Kwa hivyo wana uzoefu na wana wachezaji wazuri. Kuna mchezaji wao pia mmoja nilimchukua juzi akajoin timu yangu ya kule Turkey. Kwa hivyo wana wachezaji wazuri. Wengine pia ni Misri. Egypt pia wanajinawiri sasa na wako na timu nzuri. But kwangu sioni kama ni shida, manake pia sisi tunajiamini. Tuna 4 professional players. Wale ambao pia ni locally based pia wako sawa kabisa. Kuna vijana wadogo kutoka kule Mombasa walicheza juzi katika tournament na tukaona kwamba wako sawa. So pia sisi tunajiamini kivyetu.
Kabla nilete Agnes basi kuna ili jambo la World Cup 2022.
Yes.
Naamini pia kuqualify kuna chances ukishinda hapa unaweza qualify pale. Tueleze vile kunaenda na vile nyinyi mnajipanga mwenisho kule mtakuwa Turkey 2022 October.
So World Cup 2022 ambayo itakuwa kule Turkey. Safari yote inaanza sasa hivi. Manake kujiandaa kwenda Tanzania ndio qualifier ya kwenda kule World Cup. Kwa hivyo tukiperform vizuri pale Tanzania, tuchukue namba 1, 2 ama 3. I think maybe watachukua top 5 countries in Africa. Wale watakuwa namba 1 hadi 5 ndio wataweza kufuzu kwenda kombe la dunia 2022. Kwa hivyo si lazima pia to make sure tuko katika wa kwanza wa pili,
mambo yako sawa.
At least wa 3 tuwe top 3, tunawania top 3 pale.
Yes. Asante. Tutarejelea mambo mengine kuhusu mambo ya amputee football hapa Kenya, lakini kwa sasa allow me to bring in Agnes Olwoch, is the president of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee. Agnes, good morning. It's good to see you this morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, let me start here. I've just been engaging Dalmas on the upcoming African Cup of Nations for amputee football in Tanzania, as well as the World Cup in 2022. But the latest biggest event for Paralympics in Kenya, of course, for other sports activities dealing with people who are able differently, was the Paralympics actually, and we had a team that we sent to Tokyo. Just talk to us about your feel about how they performed and their preparation.
Okay, maybe I would say that my team really performed well as we went to Tokyo. As much as the competition was very stiff,
Yeah.
they really performed well. Being that there are other countries that actually did not make it through the qualifiers. And for Paralympic, it has always been a challenge because you cannot go to the Paralympic Games without qualifying, as we are all aware that the qualification started way back in 2018 to 2021. So I believe with that, my team really did well.
Okay. And definitely Kenya is not a very small country when it comes to these things. We have the legends who have been in this business, Abraham Tarbey, we have Henry Wanyuiki who have been doing this. And I think 2008 was our best outing. I think we had 5 gold medals, 3 silvers, but I think that figure went down again in Rio and in Tokyo. Just talk to us about, give us your thoughts about that.
Okay, I think, okay, maybe I would say that the Ninis have gone down.
Yeah.
Being that actually age has caught up with our legend. Henry Wanyoike, for example, Henry Wanyoike, Henry Kirwa, who actually made us proud in Beijing, 2008. And then we have Abraham Tarbey, who actually lost his class. So for Paralympic, it's normally a big challenge, even for our athletes to participate outside. We normally must go for classification so that they are able to participate. Okay. So this process is normally a challenge because at times we do go back to the grassroots, counties, tap new talents, but as much as they are there, but they have not been classified, it makes them unable to participate in these international events. Okay. So it's normally a challenge. And maybe when our event is coming, you find like we are given only 1 or 2 slots for classification. Okay. So that is what has actually been pulling us back. But we hope that coming forward, we will actually try and see if we can organize an athletic event here in the country, whereby we have the classifiers coming in so that we can get more of our athletes classified so that we don't have to go through that challenge.
Okay. And Agnes, definitely you've raised a very valid point, because I was about to ask you, because I mean, Dalmas has clearly said that there is enough talent. It's just that we're not tapping. But you've raised the issue of classification. Maybe for anyone who does not understand, what does classification actually mean here?
Okay, classification means as much as I would have a disability, and when it comes to competition, we cannot all compete together because there are some who are actually severe with their disability, and there are those who are mild. So it depends on the nature of your disability. So for the ground to be a fair ground for everyone, we must be classified and put into your category of classification so that you can go and compete. Okay. That's what normally happens.
Okay. Before I come back to Dalmas on this, and we of course go over the challenges that affect people in this industry, for anyone who is watching, because there are really thousands, if not hundreds of games out there. There are people who want to play tennis, there are people who want to be in athletics, there are people who want to play football like Dalmas. Maybe in Kenya, how many perhaps opportunities do we have for professional competition? How many different types of sports do we have for professional competition for people who are abled differently?
Okay, I think we have most of the sports events that are played with the normal people are the same ones that are being played in Paralympic. Like we have wheelchair basketball, we have sitting volleyball, we have para badminton, we have swimming, we have field events, and also the athletics. We have also skiing, and we hope that coming forward, we'll have our athletes also participating in the Winter Games in Beijing, China. Okay. Because we have an athlete who has actually been training for it.
Okay. Thank you, Agnes. Dalmas, wacha nirudi kwako sasa kutokufika hapa kwa sababu tuko pahali pale, si pabaya, lakini bado kuna zile tunasema there's still a lot to do.
Yes.
Wacha tuanze na changamoto. Kwa sababu ukiongea na kama national football team ya Harambee Stars watakwambia tayari wako na changamoto.
Yes.
Na nataka kuamini kutoka mahali miko kwenu changamoto zinaweza kuwa hata zaidi ya zile ambazo team zingine zina face.
Yes. Changamoto zetu ni nyingi. Kwanza kabisa ni kwamba amputee football ama any other sport ya disability sport, they are expensive. Ukichukulia kwa mfano kama wheelchair race. Yes. Wheelchair moja ni kama $500,000. Naona.
Okay.
Haya, kwetu sasa upande wa football lazima tutumie
wheelchair ambayo unatumia kwa competition ni tofauti na ile unatumia
ni tofauti kabisa. Tofauti kabisa. Kwa mfano sasa kama sisi amputee football tunatumia crutches. Crutches moja kama hii ni 6,000 zikiwa pair. Na unahitaji kama crutches 20. Maana yake pia huwa zinavunjika kwa game. Ikivunjika lazima ni replace. So it's very expensive to get the crutches like these ones, and these are the standard crutches. Kuna zile ambazo maana yake ni aluminium. Zile ambazo tuko nazo hapa Kenya wengi wanatumia ni steel, ambayo pia haikubaliki kutumika kwa game. So we lack crutches which are standard. We lack boots, because kama kwa mfano wale ambao wanacheza nao kwa timu Nairobi, inabidi kama maybe nimetoka Turkey kule, kuna zile boots 2, 3, 4, 5 naleta hapa. Unaona, shin guards, mipira zenyewe pia hatuna, uniforms. I mean there's a lot. Hata ni majuzi tu tumepata our own goalpost wakati tunafanya tournament hapa ya kuchagua national team. Now we can say we have our own goalposts, zile ziko standard. So for the last 10 years tumekuwa hata goalpost zenyewe hatuna. Most of the players wamekuja kucheza tournament hapa walikuwa hawana crutches. Unakuja maybe kama Nairobi imecheza, tumemaliza game, anakuja na Dalmas, nisile crutches zako nicheze game yetu, tukimaliza nitakurudishia. So resources kabisa hatuna. Yes.
Okay. Well, let me ask Agnes what she feels about this. Agnes, clearly resources and facilities to enable people to train and participate in these competitions is a problem.
Yes, I would say we really have challenges. In terms of equipment, in para, we really have a challenge, and especially they are very expensive. Just as Dalmas has said, you find like the crutches are going for 20,000 and they normally break, so you need to have sets of them. The wheelchair race itself is almost $500,000. Even getting a person with disability to go for training is also another challenge. Maybe getting this person from one point to another is also another challenge. Just like even myself, I use a wheelchair. I need somebody to push me. I need somebody to assist me. And at the end of the day, I'm the one to cater for this person who is assisting me and also to pay him. Okay. So it becomes a challenge for persons living with disability.
Okay.
And that challenge is the one that actually even affects our performance when it comes to in terms of competitions. Yeah.
Dalmas, let me come back to you on this, because nakumbuka mkitoka na mimi ilikuwa World Cup ya 2018. Kulikuwa na zile hofu kwamba tumefanya vizuri lakini hata recognition hamna.
Kweli. In terms of recognition, I think it's the biggest challenge we have. Maybe this is my personal opinion or personal feel. I feel like sometimes we don't feel equal to the likes of Akina Mariga, Akina Wanyama, the way we are treated. Well, with time, things have been changing a bit. The government have been improving in terms of support, in terms kutupatia kama chances za kuenda kama World Cup. They fund the team, but I think a lot needs to be done. Lazima tukae chini tuone kama sisi watu ambao wanacheza mpira wa walemavu ni nini tunafaa kufanya ndio next time kama World Cup tusiweze kulala kwa ofisi za serikali tena. Ni nini itafanyika tuweze kwenda kule World Cup kama tuko na uniform zetu. Manake nakumbuka 2014, na ni jambo la aibu kusema lakini nitasema, tulicheza na uniform za mashabiki tuliomba. Our very first game, we didn't have uniform.
Ilikuwa mechi against wapi?
Mechi ilikuwa Kenya against Russia. The very first game tulicheza World Cup in 2014, because the uniform that we were supposed to travel with zilichelewa. So I think zilifika Mexico, I think during the last 2 games. So ni jambo la aibu sana pale wimbo wa taifa unacheza, badala uwe na emotions za kwamba niko na furaha, uko na machungu. Manake unajiuliza, mimi kama Mkenya nimesafiri kutoka Kenya mpaka hapa Mexico na sina uniform ya timu ya taifa. Sina crutches ya kunisaidia kucheza, manake nakumbuka kabisa we even had to borrow crutches. I'm just going to say it, because we don't want to go back to the same situation.
Again.
Because we have Tanzania, we have Turkey next year. We need these resources provided to us by the government if it's possible, corporates if they are listening. We need this stuff, because we have talent. Just imagine, we were only in camp for 3 weeks before going to the World Cup. Only 3 weeks. Most of the players who came from different parts of the country had never played amputee football before or any tournament. And we managed to be 12th in the world out of 32 countries.
Yeah.
We are ranked 12th in the world. So it shows you that if we get all these facilities and resources, then Kenya can be a world champion.
Okay.
Yes.
Agnes, definitely part of this problems why they are a bit overlooked is because even in the board of decision makers, there is lack of representation. But you've been president of the Paralympics committee for some short time now. Have you tried to try and address these issues, bring them before, let's say, the ministry and all that?
Yes, I would say I've really tried to emphasize on that, because that's also a challenge when it comes in terms of uniforms, kitting of our athletes, and these athletes who actually do not have employment even after their event, they are not lucky enough to get employment. So whatever they survive with is normally sports. So it is a challenge, and I've really tried to raise it. And I think moving forward, we have seen some change, and I can see, and I'm very happy about the CES, the PS, they are really trying to hit the ground in terms of para sports, and I believe maybe we are going to see a change in the coming years.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. But this conversation continues because issues of resources and facilities is not the only challenge that, of course, people with disabilities in sport face. We still have more challenges that face them. But before we go for this quick break, let's just get to see what some of you have been saying on social media. Remember, we asked you what should be done to increase the participation and opportunities for people with disabilities in sport. And we have Asman Victor, who says, sports in Kenya is all about agents. There's nothing to say on that. The rest about opportunities is noise. Thank you, Asman Victor. Elvis Sang says, corruption is hitting this country differently. We have talents out here. Nivile, who do you know? Thing keeps keeping them at home. Thank you, Elvis, for your feedback. We'll try and sample much more when we come back. But for now, we go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion about the challenges facing people with disabilities in the world of sport. Don't go too far. Thank you for staying with us on NTV. We are talking about increasing opportunities and participation of people with disabilities or people who are able differently in sporting activities in Kenya and across the world in 2021. Thank you for keeping us company. You can still be part of this conversation by engaging us on social media on how we can do just exactly that, increasing opportunities and participation of people who are able differently in sporting activities. You can send that feedback on social media at NTV Kenya and at Victor Kiprop _ on Twitter. Use the hashtag New Normal. You could also send your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or on YouTube. If you're not on social media, you can call in. The numbers are below your screen. You can be part of this conversation. But allow me to continue our conversation. I'm still with Agnes Olwoch. She's the president of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee, as well as Dalmas Otieno is the captain of the national amputee football team. Good morning, gentlemen and lady. Let's continue from where we picked up, Dalmas. And clearly, hata kabla tufike kwa mambo ya resources ambayo tutarejelea sasa hivi, kuna zile pia changamoto za kama culture, mambo ya stigma, na inaanza hata na kama hata low self esteem na mchezaji mwenyewe ambaye anaanza sasa, mimi niko hivi, nitawezaje kufanya hivi. Tuelezee umuhimu wa kukuwa na ile mental strength na support facilities kama psychological support kwa wachezaji katika sekta hii.
I think stigma ni kitu iko si kwa disability peke yake, iko katika magonjwa tofauti tofauti, na I think most people wana confuse disability na ugonjwa. Hata maybe kwa mfano, maybe kama napanda matatu ama niko katika mtaa, unasikia mtu anasema, anatumia term ya ondokea mgonjwa. Unajiuliza nani mgonjwa? Niko na malaria, ni ugonjwa gani ambao niko nao? Unaget maana unajiuliza nani mgonjwa hapa? Maana tunajua ugonjwa ni lazima maybe kama kwa mgonjwa uko hospitalini ama uko katika nyumbani katika kitanda unapumzika, uko mgonjwa ujihisi vizuri. Lakini sasa mimi mwenyewe nikitoka nje pale niko timamu kabisa. Afya iko sawa, niko na nguvu, I'm physically able. So watu wawache kutumia kuona disability kama ni ugonjwa. Si ugonjwa kabisa. Si ugonjwa.
Okay. Kama kwa miaka umesema ulianza 2014 kucheza.
Yes.
Kwa miaka hii 7 kuna wakati ushawahi kufikiria ukasema mimi hiki kitu niwachane naye tu nifanye shughuli zangu?
Yaani nimeshawahi. Tuseme tumeanza kucheza katika mwaka wa 2010. Amputee football. Na from 2010 until 2014, let's say maybe until 2013, ilikuwa ngumu. Maana yake ilikuwa hatuna tournaments, hatuna wafadhili, isipokuwa sasa the founder of the sport alikuwa anatufadhili na pesa zake mwenyewe. Alikuwa amenunua uniforms, amenunua mipira, amenunua kila kitu. Ilifika mpaka mahali sasa ametununulia mpaka tuna facility yetu ambayo pale tuna train, tuna ofisi yetu. Lakini upande mwingine unaangalia sisi kama Wakenya ama Wakenya wenzetu ama serikali yetu imetufanyia nini wakati huo. So ilikuwa changamoto, nashindwa sasa hii game inaniletea pesa kweli? At the end of the day unajua lazima ulipe rent,
watu wakule,
lazima uende nyumbani ule. Wengine wetu wameoa, wana familia, wana watoto, lazima wasome. Sasa ukimwambia mtu njoo zoezi Monday, Wednesday and Friday, inamaanisha kwamba ataacha kazi yake. Na wengi wale ambao tunacheza mchezo maybe hapa Nairobi ni wachuuzi tu hapa town. Maybe ni hawkers pale wanauza vitu zao ndogo ndogo pale. Lazima atoke pale pale akienda nyumbani na pesa. Watoto wale wasome, alipe rent. Sasa wengi pia waliacha. Maana yake walisema sasa hii game haina pesa. Na zoezi but narudi home na nalala njaa. Nafungiwa nyumba. Upande wangu maana yake mpira nimeupenda sana. Na kugive up ilikuwa ngumu, maana yake niko nasema sport ndio itaweza kunitoa pale niko inipeleke pale pengine ni pazuri zaidi. Imenitoa na nimesafiri kwingi through sports. But wengi pia wana give up, maana yake wanaona ile wako na short term goal. Wanaona pesa ya haraka. Lakini nataka uvumilivu, maana yake pia si rahisi, na kupata success katika sports ama any other career lazima uwe na perseverance.
Okay.
Yes.
Agnes, let me just bring you back, because the question that many people are asking themselves is, are these things changing? But even before we do that, you've been an athlete before yourself. Just take us back to your journey and how the situation was in terms of these challenges, even including issues of stigma.
Okay. I started in Paralympic. I started in as an athlete. 2010, I did present the country in Commonwealth Games in New Delhi. And when I was an athlete, I saw so many things that were happening. And I was like, because by that time we had an able president. And I was like, as much as we have this able president, maybe he does not, whatever he does to us is because he does not have the disability and he's not capable. And I noticed with him, he did not, as much as he was our president, most of the time, he did not want to be seen with us. So many things he would do, yes, but on the background. He doesn't want to be seen. Yani with people with disability. So I was like, okay, I need to take this and maybe do it better, being that I'm aware of the shoe and I know where it hurt most. And for sure, that stigma is still there, even right now when we go to places. And for sure, I'm really proud of myself with my disability, being a mother of 2. And my first girl is actually in the US. She was doing mechanical, electrical engineering.
Yes.
Which she has actually graduated, and now she's doing her master's. I have a boy who is at Kenyatta University doing computer science. He's going to graduate in January. So as much as you look at me as a person with disability, maybe I don't know anything, I would be in a better position than yourself who is able. But the way you look at me, the way you treat me, sometimes I really feel bad. And I imagine those who cannot talk, because me, I'm their voice, what do they go through? Maybe they even go through, they really feel pain than I do feel at times, because it hurts you as much as you'll not show, but it hurts you. You feel like somebody's treating you like you don't know what you're saying, because he's looking at your disability and just looking down upon you, like you're just talking for the sake of talking. You don't know what you're talking. Even if you are in a meeting, sometimes you'll find people are being asked questions. Nobody would want to know your view. Being you imagine that you don't want to know my view because I'm disabled. As much as I'm here to voice the voice of my people, but people don't take it serious. So it has been a challenge, but I'm actually trying. But I'm very happy that the CS, being a woman, she has actually tried. And she listens. She's a listener. She will listen. She's a mother. She will actually listen and act as per your request. But normally it has been a big challenge for our people, and even especially the athletes, officials. You go into a meeting, you don't talk because you feel like with my disability, even if I talk, they'll not take me serious. They'll be like, you don't know what you're saying. But for sure, as much as I'm seated there on a wheelchair, maybe I'm better off. And I walk proud, knowing that I'm better off other people who are able. And they pity me. Instead of me pitying them, they're the ones who are pitying me. And I'm doing well.
Thank you, Agnes. And definitely I'd want to come back to you on the issue of whether things are changing. But let me just come back to you, Dalmas. Clearly, hizi vitu zenye Agnes anasema una relate nazo?
Yes, I do. Because I've been in sports for long. I've had my disability since I was 5. So stigma-wise, in terms of people looking down on you, thinking that you cannot do what they can do. But I always challenge them, because the biggest disability you can ever have is the one you have in your mind, Because if you think you can, you can. And if you think you cannot, then you're right, Iwezi ukafanya. So it's all in the mind. If you think you can do this and you put your mind to it, hata kama utaweza, but utajaribu, unaona? Because kujaribu ndio kuweza kufanya kitu. But mimi naambia watu, it's all about being positive and believing in yourself. The rest, I don't care what people think about me. What matters is what I think about myself. Because you might think of me as a weak. People will say, hey, usimsukume ataanguka. I'm like, jaribu uone.
Jaribu uone.
Tusukume tuone between me na yeye nani ataanguka.
And I like that, as you mentioned, that
yes.
even from childhood, you didn't want to like,
yes.
oh, sijui wacha tukuongezea ama kuwe wengi ama
yes.
something.
Yeah, people living with disabilities, what we really hate is pity. Because we feel like, the woye.
Okay. And the problem is most people think actually they are helping.
Yes,
they think
yes,
they
yes.
are being empathetic,
yes.
and they're helping.
They're helping.
Kind.
Yes. They think like, ukifeel woye towards this person, you are encouraging them. We hate it, because we have capabilities that you don't know, you do not know. And I can do something that you can never do yourself, even if you try in the next 10 years. So, just look at a person as a person before you see their disability. Because before anything else, I'm Dalmas. And hizo zingine ni baadaye. Because mimi mwenyewe nimeishi slum. I can carry mtungi ya 20 liters ya maji. Na nitatoa hapa mpaka pale. With my own ability.
Yeah. Maybe
sitafanya haraka kama wewe, but with my own speed, my own way of carrying it, itafika pale.
My concern is that this, as Agnes has mentioned, this stigma is not just outside there kwa wananchi ama nini. It's also even in boardrooms, in kwa policy makers ambao wanafaa kufanya vitu differently.
Yes, even looking at our governments. How many people do we have when you're on disability for parliament? And for us, it'll have to come to being nominated. We have to be nominated to be in that gathering. Without nomination, then we can. We have to be given. We don't want to be given. We want to fight like anybody else. Kama ni kuingia kwa ground, tuingia kwa ground to fight, to electiwe. We don't want to get nominations. To put it just our slots, if we want to give us slots, then hata kama sisi kama people with disabilities, we can fight amongst ourselves. Because we have this issue of women
rep.
Vile wanaweka like the weakest. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah.
But wanawake wanaonekana kwamba wako weak.
Oh, the weaker, like a weaker gender or something.
The disabled people are weak. Watoto tumeko katika category tatu, naona. So the kids, the women, and the people with disabilities. But looking at it, we are equal. We just need to be given the empowerment that we need. Because mimi nimesoma Town Primary School. Na ukiangalia pale, most kids performed better in school just like any other kid, because we do the same exams, we do the same curriculum. Hakuna tofauti yote. Just give us opportunities. If it's amputee football, tupate opportunity. Give us the stadiums, give us the equipments. Let's compete with Turkey. Why is Turkey better than us? In amputee football, we have players playing in Turkey from Kenya. It means that we're just lacking the structures. We're lacking the facilities and the resources. But we're equal. Yes.
All right. Agnes, let me come back to you and challenge you on this one now. So what have you tried to do differently to try and move away from the past, given what the experience you've just given? What have you tried to do differently to ensure that the situation is improved?
I've tried to engage the ministry, and I'm very happy that this ministry is actually trying to support us, because you'll find in most board meetings, they actually include persons with disability, because at times, long time ago, you find now like Paralympic is being represented by so-and-so and not one of us. But this time round, you'll find that when those meetings are there, actually, they make sure that one of us is there to represent PWDs. So with that, I think I have done something.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Agnes. But really, so how does the future look like from where what do you think needs to change?
I think so many things need to change. Even when we are saying we need stadiums and whatever where our people can be training in terms of training. When it comes to training, go to City Stadium, you'll find the stadium itself is not disability friendly. Nyayo, they have tried, but they are still not there where they're supposed to be in terms of disability.
Okay.
So I think those are things that needs to be put in factor, as much as we are also human beings like just the other. And when we are empowered, just even a little empowerment will boost us up.
Okay.
And will actually perform.
Okay.
But at times it really feels bad that you want to go to City Stadium and train, but you cannot go there because if you think that you need to use the washrooms, you really don't know what to do. So it puts you off and you'll not even go there. So we really need to try our level best and help our people with disability.
Okay.
Just to get to another level.
But Agnes, you've only mentioned the 2 stadiums in Nairobi, and people with disabilities are all over the country. Mandera, Busia, Wajir, everywhere. Clearly, there has to be a role that is also played by the county governments.
Yes, as much as I've talked about Nairobi, I think it is all over the counties that the stadiums are not disability friendly. They really need to take care in that line of disability, looking at if someone wants to use the washroom, how will this person on a wheelchair get to that washroom? And then at times you find they say that this is disability friendly, but when I get in that washroom with my wheelchair, it's even impossible to make a turn. You cannot turn because you don't have enough space. So you'll either go there and not close the door, which is unfortunate, and it makes you feel something in your heart.
Okay. Before I come back
so there are so many things that really need to be done in terms of persons living with disability.
Before I come back to Dalmas on the same, the issue of funding, do you have your own dedicated kitty or do you rely on allocations from the ministry?
For Paralympic, we normally rely on the ministry 100%. We do not have, because as you're aware, the IPC actually also depends on the NOC. Yes, the International Olympic Committee is the one that supports IPC. So for now, we've not been able to get our own funding as much as they are trying, but we've not reached there. So we normally depend on the ministry 100%.
I'll still come back to you on what needs to change, and that is your funding. But really, Dalmas, from where you sit, ni nini kinafaa kubadilika? Na najua ni vitu mingi, lakini tuende pole pole.
First of all, I think, like the government has been trying to do now, because in the past, tumekuwa tukifeel like we don't belong. We're second-class citizens where we have to go and beg for funding from the government. And when we need to go for international matches or games, or even locally. But now things are changing, like President Agnes has said, things are changing and we're happy about it. The ministry are really helping. They are coordinating well with the KNPC and other federations. And going forward, I think maybe we're looking at a bright future where Paralympic athletes will feel like they're in the right place. Because, you know, sports is a very short-term career. You know, when you're 35, then you are, you're almost retiring now. And when you haven't made enough resources or money from sports when you are at 35, then your hope of getting anywhere is finished. So I think with the government helping us to even nurture talent, if you look at amputee football, most of the guys that played in the World Cup in 2018 are very young. And even the just concluded tournament in City Stadium, I think we're going to have the average to be around 26 years for the national team. It shows that we have great talent. And I think We just need to come together as para athletes, sit down with the government, reevaluate how far have we gone, and what needs to be done to make things better for future. Because we still have Olympics coming, we still have Commonwealth Games coming, we have World Cup for amputee football, we have other games for like wheelchair basketball, sitting volleyball. We just need to come down, sit, and I think I'll just give an example of Turkey. The Turkish, let's say, let me call it like KNPC. They call it
for them, yeah?
Yeah, for them, IFF, which is for Turkey. Every sport is under one umbrella, whereby they have a website which controls each and every sport. Like, for example, Agnes, who is our president, is in charge of amputee football, volleyball, all the disability sports are under the same person. But you will still have the president or amputee football, a president or volleyball, but they all answer to the same person. It makes it easier to run the games. But now in our country, we have KNPC, which is the body for Paralympic, but also we have amputee football, which is independent. Volleyball is independent.
Kila mtu anaenda kivyake.
So if Agnes will go to the ministry to ask for funding for the para athletes who are going to Tokyo, another person, our president for amputee football, will also go with another proposal for amputee football. And a week later, sitting volleyball will also go to the same ministry asking for funds. It shows disunity. It shows hatujajipanga vizuri. But if we can take these sports and put them under the same person who can run, if we need funding for the World Cup or kwenda Tanzania, we just write our budgets as amputee football. We present it to the KNPC. KNPC will represent it to the government. It's easier that way. So that it's only one person or one body that connects us to the government. Easier that way.
Does it then make sense, the point I was asking Agnes about having like a sports kitty dedicated? Because kama sasa hivi tuko na sports fund. Tuko na kama sports fund yenu ambayo sasa kila mtu ana. Now then we can have amputee football, sitting volleyball and everything.
Well, for a very long time, I've always thought to myself, it's just my personal opinion, whereby instead of just every other time going to the government and asking for funding for amputee football, why can't we, as all the disciplines in disability sports, come together with our budgets and with our calendar of events? Let's say if we have 2 events in a year or 3 events in a year for amputee football, then we know our budget is 20 million or 10 million. We take it down. All the other disciplines does the same, and then we present this to KNPC, and then we can have our own kitty that says, for this year we have like 2 billion for the para sports, whereby now we know amputee football needs 20 million, the other discipline needs 10 million. So we don't have to go to the government each and every other time. We have our kitty whereby we know it's allocated equally, and it's fair for each and every federation. Whereby now we know if we have the World Cup in 2022, we don't have to go and ask the government for funding. We know it's in our kitty, and it will be allocated to us or provided to us when we need it. It's going to be easy that way. But I think it's something that needs to be discussed among ourselves as federation officials and the government, so that we just know that we have different sports. Let's say 20 disciplines, because even the deaf are in our category. We have the blind people in our category, the Special Olympics in our category. Let's just know that we need even 10 billion for the same for the calendar year of events, and it's going to be easy, so that now we can train easily. We know the money is there. We just need to give our calendar of events, and the money will be given to us.
Yes. Agnes, other people will argue that this whole responsibility of funding sports cannot be left to the government alone.
Yes, they would argue that way. But we've actually tried to reach to corporates to actually support Paralympic, but sometimes it becomes a problem when you go to corporates. So it has been a challenge for me, but there are some that actually support, but they support and then for a short period. Maybe you're having an event, they do support once in a while.
And so where's the problem exactly, Agnes? Because I mean, if I was to pull any corporate right now, they'd tell you we're so much interested in going into sports, and you on the other hand are very much interested in having them in sports. So where exactly is the challenge there?
Okay, the challenge is that maybe in Paralympic, we've been having a lot of wranglings. Today, I would go and approach maybe KBL. And my opponents feel like if Agnes gets this money, it's going to be a plus for her. And forgetting about who this money is going to help. So somebody else goes to that that person who's actually willing to support the Paralympic and says maybe things that are not right, and then definitely no sponsor would want to go where there is wrangling. So you'll find that person just pulling out. So that is what has been going on. But so far, so good. I think our people have started learning that we lose a lot when we are wrangling or when we are having infights. We lose a lot, and other people get to benefit more than us.
The suggestion by Dalmas that we have all these sports associations under one umbrella body, would it help?
Yes, that one would actually help very much, because you'll find that whatever we look at as KNPC are events that are actually mandatory events, and will actually be able to push the ministry to support those events. Because right now you would find you have a mandatory event, like maybe wheelchair and amputee would have a mandatory event that they have to participate to that in order to be in the World Cup. But since the ministry does not understand what needs to be done before the athletes get to World Cup. So they'll ignore that event, being that sometimes money is not there, of which it's going to affect our athletes. So if we can have something like that, that we all report to one office, and that office is the one that actually communicates to the government, I think that will also help our people. But on this, whatever the structure as it is now changing, and it is going to be like the way Dalmas is saying. When we do our elections, the structures are going to change, and that is what you're going to be doing right away.
All right. Thank you very much, Agnes. And we have to take a break at this point, but don't go too far, because Dalmas Otieno is the captain of the national amputee football team, as well as Agnes Olwoch is the president of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee, are staying with me after this break. Thank you for staying with your world on NTV. This morning we're discussing a very important topic, which is the issue of sports and people with disabilities, and how we can increase their participation and opportunities and bring more people into this space and ensure that we have inclusivity in our society. I'm still with Agnes Oluoch, she's the president of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee, as well as Dalmas Otieno is the captain of the amputee national football team. Welcome back. Dalmas, wacha tuanze hapa sasa, kwa sababu Tanzania ni kama siku ngapi sasa? Mwezi mmoja tu.
Mwezi mmoja na siku kadhaa.
Mwezi mmoja na siku kadhaa.
Yes.
Tukianza ulikuwa umesema mambo ya kambi.
Yes. Naomba
tuzungumzie mambo ambayo unatarajia kwamba ama unatumai kwamba zibadilishwe kabla ya nyinyi kwenda Tanzania.
Kwa sasa jambo la muhimu sana ni kwamba tuweze kuingia katika kampeni haraka iwezekanavyo. Manake tuko nyuma ya wakati. Wapinzani wetu tayari wamekuwa kambini, kama tuseme Angola wamekuwa kambini kule Afrika Kusini kwa miezi miwili. Tanzania wamekuwa kwa kambi for the last 2 months. Wamejiandaa vizuri. So pia sisi kama African, manake sasa hapa East Africa, we are the giants. We are the best team in East Africa. We have to prepare ourselves better. We have to be ready for the tournament. And for that to happen, lazima tuingie kambini as soon as possible. Ikiwezekana maybe the latest tarehe 1 November. Ndio at least na 3 weeks za kutrain kambini. Ile namba tuko nayo ni kubwa. To be able to select 12 out of 30 players si rahisi. So we need to camp as early as possible. Na tunaomba serikali kama inawezekana tuweze kuingia kambini by tarehe 1. Ndio tuweze kuchagua the best players wa train pamoja kwa muda mrefu, at least 3 weeks training kambini.
Kama naweza kuuliza, umesema ni Angola wamekuwa kambi miezi mbili sasa. Nyinyi upande wenu mkiuliza the reason ambayo bado hamjaingia kambi ni nini?
Kwanza kabisa ni finances. Manake our federation,
so tunarudi kwa lile
jambo la finances. Our federation haina hata ndururu. Manake kila wakati tukiwa na tournament tunategemea serikali.
Ukisema federation, hii ni federation ya amputee football.
Yes. Inaitwa Kenya Amputee Football Federation. Tuko na federation yetu. Na inategemea serikali 100%. Uchaguzi ambao tumefanya juzi, ile national trials za kuchagua the 30 players, imefadhiliwa na kampuni ya kibinafsi. Unaona? Na kama hawangekuwa mpaka sasa hivi tungekuwa tuna timu ya taifa. The 30 players wangekuwa hawako. Tungekuwa bado tunazungumzia tutafanya trials lini tuchague players wa kwenda Tanzania. So it all comes down to the finances. Hatuna chetu kabisa, hatuna hata ndururu. Na ndio maana nasema kama ingewezekana at KNPC wako na pesa ya sports za kila discipline. Tungeenda kwa Agnes, tumwambie Agnes, tuko na trials, tunataka milioni 2 ama milioni 3 tuweze kuchagua timu.
Mimi sijawahi kukuwa mchezaji ambaye amewakilisha nchi yake, lakini from where I sit, Dalmas, I mean this would be very discouraging if I am trying to represent my country and perform at my level best, but I have to go around and beg for funding and remind them that the tournament is coming close.
Well, I will not blame the government entirely. PSCC, like we've been discussing here, we need to arrange ourselves much better in terms of how do we approach the government to make it easier for them to know that now we have to deal with amputee football before anybody else, because their matter is very urgent, And through like what we've been discussing with Agnes, our calendar of events. Ni nani kwanza anahitaji pesa zaidi ya mwingine? Our Harambee Stars wamekuwa na tournaments. Na Mali hapo wameenda Mali wakacheza wakachapwa, wakaja hapa Kenya wakachapwa.
Wakaenda Rwanda naamini.
Unaona? Sasa wale wako na kalenda yao na wanajua events zao ziko namna gani, na wale wako fully funded either with FIFA and government. Sisi kama amputee football hatuna support yoyote ya FIFA because we have our world body inaitwa WAF, World Amputee Football Federation. Hawatusaidii hata kidogo. Bado pia wale hawana pesa ya kuweza kusupport these other countries and clubs. So pale tuko sasa ni sisi na serikali ama sisi na corporates. Na kwenda kwa corporates pia imekuwa ni changamoto, manake pia lazima pia waone kwamba serikali inawasaidia ndio pia naweza kuchangia. Na tulipo sasa tunatarajia maybe wafadhili mmoja ama wawili wataweza ku come through tuweze kufanya hata kama maybe serikali ilisema maybe tuko na camp ya 1 week, maybe the other 2 weeks zisimamiwe na maybe kama kampuni ya kibinafsi.
Niliona Mariga akifanya tizi na nyinyi, ni support gani mnapata kwa kama wachezaji ambao wamestaafu kama yeye?
Well, tuliweza kualika Mariga katika tournament yetu because of one reason. Ukiangalia katika nchi za ng'ambo, kwa mfano kama Poland, Robert Lewandowski ndio ambassador wa amputee football in Poland. Yes. Wakati mwingine pia ana fund the team entirely by himself. Kama manake pia wale hawana ufadhili wa kama sisi hivi.
Kumaanisha hizi challenges ziko
across the board. Hapa Kenya, Tanzania, wapi ziko hata Turkey kwenyewe. Ziko hizo challenges. Lakini unapata pale wale wamejipanga vizuri zaidi kutushinda sisi. Kama una tournament yote kama ni ya world ama ni lazima wataenda, maana serikali itawafadhili. Na watu kama Mariga tuliwaita, maana tunataka pia wawe karibu na sisi, maana wale ni ambassadors wa hii nchi. Na wakiwa karibu na sisi pia itaweza kuvutia mpaka mashabiki wengine ambao hawajui anything about amputee football. Na pia itasaidia kuleta maybe corporates karibu na sisi, maana pia wale wamejijengea jina na itakuwa rahisi tu kupata watu wa kutusupport wakiwa karibu na sisi.
Agnes, before I ask you about the future, what's next for the Paralympic team, the rest of the Paralympic team, but really, let me just take you back to an issue of coaching, because if you see athletes, for instance, like people like Julius Diego who are in javelin, they always complain that we don't even have coaches. I don't know how much of an issue this is from your end. Agnes?
On my side, it is also an issue in terms of coaching and who are the best coaches for Paralympic. Because we've tried using our own former athletes who have actually participated and gave glory to the country as Paralympians. And also, we normally use the AK coaches. We normally, if we have a selection of team, we would go to AK and request them to assist us where they have actually been assisting us. But we'd also want, we'd also put a request to the government if we could have more trainings for coaches and make sure that we enroll our Paralympic coaches to do such courses. Will also help the athletes because they've been that challenge in Paralympic.
But really, so even as we try to, of course, go to the end of this discussion, this issue of discrimination still hangs above our heads. How do we address it, at least from where you sit?
I think maybe to address it, I would just say, as much as I have my disability, somebody else has another disability, Dalmas, there is an amputee. Let's show love to these people. Once we show love, let's try and assist. Let's accommodate each and everyone. Let's not leave them behind. As much as we would be having our event in Nyayo Stadium, and this I'm saying it maybe to the country and to everyone, even the parents of persons with disability. We would be having our own event. And when you come to this event, you'll find that the stadium is almost empty. There's nobody to look or to watch these PWDs competing. But how I wish the stadium would be full, having people looking at us. And then with this, we'll also be creating awareness. If I have a child with disability, I'll know, okay, fine. I went to Nyayo Stadium, I saw this, and also to the media, this has not been happening well. My request is that you try and cover these events for PWDs so that you'll also be creating awareness in another way. And we'll have these people who, as much as I'm not able to go to school, maybe I have a talent in some sport and it can help me in my future life. So I think we really need to look at it, and this is something that must be tackled. Discrimination is the worst thing, and it feels bad that in your own country you're being discriminated. When you go to other countries, you feel there's love, there's everything. It really feels bad.
And
And it kills your morale.
Dalmas, let me come back to you. Swala la discrimination.
Yes. I think the best way to tackle it is from our kids. You know, yes, from that early age where now the kids are growing up, they need to be shown that a disabled kid or a kid living with disability is not any different from you. They're just having a challenge with a limb or an arm or any part of their body, but they're not different. And a disability doesn't mean the kid is not able. For example, you know, I went to Jewtown Primary School, and in our school, it was only the kids with disabilities. It was not integrated. But now, they are starting to integrate the kids together, whereby there are kids with physical challenges and without. Now, if they live together, they get to learn about each other.
Early enough.
Early enough. And when a kid gets to know, oh, somebody in a wheelchair needs this assistance, and it's not because they are bad off, or they just need it because they cannot do it on themselves. And also that kid with this disability can have an ability that this other kid does not have. Maybe in academics. They might be good in maths, they might be good in languages, and they might be able to help this other kid who is able physically. So when we mix our kids together at that early age and also give them awareness and teachings, that because when I walk in the streets or pale mtaani, some kids who have never seen me, they'll be like, ona ule, because it's something it's foreign to them. But if we teach them at that tender age that yes, you can lose a limb, you can maybe get an accident and be in a wheelchair, and that doesn't mean it's the end of your life. Just teach them from that early age. They grow up knowing that a disability is just a condition whereby it doesn't limit your life in any way unless you limit yourself, you know, mentally. So I think it needs to start from that, the PP1 going up. Yes.
Okay. But really, even, and I'll come back to this issue later on what you have to say to other people in this situation, but really it also calls for something about our mental strength to be able to especially if you're planning to go into this kind of sports.
Yes. I think sometimes it's by default. Because let me say, when I got my accident, I didn't know I will go to a special school where I will meet other kids with disabilities and play with them. But now, the biggest challenge comes when you get a disability when you are an adult. Because I've met people in the streets and they're like, you know what, I need to talk to you because my husband got an accident, he's in a hospital, he feels like the world is over for him. He cannot do anything. And I'm like, I'll get their number, I will talk to them, I will tell them, you know what, I'm like you. If you lost a leg, I also lost a leg when I was young. This is what I'm doing with my life. This is, you know, how things are going. And it's not over for you because when you get out of that hospital bed, going home, you can come and join us and play football. You know, maybe they were never playing football before, but now they have even an opportunity to be footballers. I don't think I would be a footballer if I had 2 legs. So it's a blessing in disguise. People might see it as a disability, a disadvantage, but for me, this is all a blessing.
Above it.
If I wasn't an amputee now, I would not have traveled to Australia as a dancer.
Turkey stories would not even be
maybe, I would have just maybe ningekuwa slums bado nafanya mambo zile za kawaida. But because of who I am and what I am, I have gotten opportunities that I might not have gotten when, you know, if I had my 2 legs. So when a disability comes by, it doesn't mean it's the end of it or the end of your life. It could be an opening for big opportunities. So yeah.
Agnes, the issue of funding, lack of funding, the issue of inadequate facilities for training has just refused to go away. For one final time, I'd like you to talk to stakeholders, governments, partners, corporates who can, of course, play a role, and even the members of the public who can actually play a role in ensuring that these solutions for these problems are provided for.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity And first, I would go to parents for persons with disability. If you have a child with disability, please, my request is that remember you will not be there forever with that child. One day, you never know, you might go to rest.
Agnes, if I can interrupt you, just try to move your laptop to your left because we're struggling to see you. Okay, that's much better. Okay, just please proceed now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I would want to say in terms of, I would want to talk to the parents of persons living with disability. It is very sad. Right now, you are there for your child. You're actually trying to protect them as much as, remember, you'll not be there forever to protect them. They need to live a life of their own. Just look at your child and see how best you could assist them. Sports is one of the areas where you be supported, could get assistance, could live a life of his or her own. So my kind request, when we see that the Paralympics are doing a trials, come in, try and bring your child, whether it's your neighbor, your grandchild, just make sure you bring them in.
Okay.
And to the corporates, government, kindly let us support the Paralympians, because this is the only place whereby we get our livelihood. This is how because we say sport is also therapy for persons living with disability. It helps the body, and if we can do it, we can live long, and it also helps your body. So we actually we are putting down a request that we support our people, so that in terms of training, they can train. In terms of maybe sponsorship, please help these people, because you've heard that it is a big challenge even to get to the stadium and train like any other.
Okay.
For a PWD, their life is normally very difficult, because if you can take, for example, if I have to get into a matatu right now with my wheelchair, I will pay for my wheelchair, I'll pay for myself, I'll pay for my assistants, while you'll only pay for yourself. So it is an expensive life, but we have learned to live with it. But with your support outside there, we believe we can move the mountains.
Okay.
So please come in and support our Paralympians.
Okay.
And very soon you're going to be organizing our trials, whereby we would want to have every child who is at home, maybe in schools, to come and participate in this, so that we can start tapping these talents as early as possible as we prepare for 2024 Paris Paralympic Games.
Okay, that's a nice way to bring it in, because I was about to ask you now, do we still have Paris in 2024? What do we do in between? What's next for the team that has just come back from Tokyo?
For the team that has just come back to Tokyo, we need to go to the counties, tap new talents, have different events, qualifiers, make sure that they go to the qualifiers, try and get as many as possible, different events. Those who can play wheelchair basketball, the ones that can do wheelchair racing, sitting volleyball. We have different events in Paralympics. So if we can start this early, I believe come 2024, we'll have a big team. And we also have Commonwealth Games coming next year. We need to start preparing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Agnes. Delmas, let me come back to you on this, because you've mentioned that you've had to speak to people who have been in a situation, maybe an accident, and they feel like the world is over. And there are people who are out there who are actually currently watching, and it has completely brought them down. Not necessarily an accident, but even just a child was born like that, and they're just thinking, talk to them.
I think, number one, when you have a kid with a disability and they know nothing about themselves, probably they don't even know of their condition. It's you as a parent who knows. Number one is to give them the best support you can give until they are in a position where they now know themselves, and they will eventually realize I have a disability which deters me from doing A, B, C, D. You know, as much as I cannot do it better than my other sister who is okay, but I can still do it. So encourage those kids to be independent, because I went to a school, a boarding school when I was 5 years old, and I learned to do everything by myself, you know, by myself. So I encourage them to participate like each and every other kid. Don't treat them as special in the house. Don't make them, you know, feel like they cannot do anything. They can just sit down and watch TV. Make them participate in each and every activity in the home. Get them outside the house. Let them play with the other kids, so that they can grow knowing that this is my ability. This is how far I can get. Yeah. You know, and I can get further through, you know, assistance through, you know, playing together with the other kids and being assisted to, you know, be a better person. Yeah. And I think if we do that, we will get out all this stigma that people think that a person with a disability cannot do A, B, or C. Okay. Because we have examples out there. We have Dalmases, we have Akina Kirwa, we have Safari who's doing skiing on one leg. Things that even people with their tool fits they cannot do. Yeah. So it's all about getting that positive vibe. You know?
And of course that bit about playing together also helps the other kid understand that this is okay and this is fine and this is one of us and it's normal.
Yes. So the integration of these kids at an early age. Let's not hide our kids in the house because they're on a wheelchair. Okay. And you think the other kids will pick out on them and say, he's not good or she's not good enough to play with us. Okay. I believe the children have love, you know. Hate begins at, you know, an adult age. But when the kids are together, there's nothing but love. Okay. And when they grow in that situation where they don't discriminate against a kid who has polio, a cerebral palsy, they will grow up knowing that this kid is just like them and there's no difference. Okay. Yes.
Agnes has mentioned the issue of the stadiums being empty. Yes. Nyimnenda Dar es Salaam, 26th of November. Yes. Wakenya wanapenda ball sana.
Sana.
Lakini lazima wapende ndio waweze kufuatilia. Yes. Naomba wazungumzie mafans kwa sababu Wakenya ni watu ambao wakiamua kusimama na wewe mambo yako sawa.
First of all, I'd like to thank Kenyans because even in 2018, the matches were being streamed live on Facebook. And most Kenyans were watching. And I don't know where they got the information that kuna games inachezwa Mexico za amputee football. They were na unajua kule sasa Mexico time is different. Wakati nyinyi mnalala huko si so they were waking up. You know, wanakaa macho wanaona game. Kule ni mchana lakini hapa sana ni usiku wa manane. Wana watch game. Wana comment wanasema support Kenyan, wana to support sana. So I think this is the right time to, you know, call on to Kenyans to come and support amputee football. I think at the moment we are better than Harambee Stars, you know, in terms of performance. Yeah. We've been in two World Cups.
I think you're ranked, is it 12?
12 in the world, yes.
Worldwide?
Yes.
Sisi Harambee Stars wako 100 and something.
So kama maybe wanazubazuba na hizo pesa ambao wanapewa na serikali, tupewe sisi, manake tutazitumia vizuri. We will bring medals here, we'll bring trophies here. Let us support the amputee football because now hakuna haja maybe niende nicheze ball Turkey na kuna league hapa Kenya. We need a league in Kenya whereby we don't need even to have a national trial to select the national team. We will
wachezaji kutoka hapo ndani.
Tunajua tu kuna mchezaji ni Mombasa, kuna mchezaji Kisumu because tuna league and we are playing every other weekend. Okay. But now we only meet when we have tournaments. Cup of Nation, World Cup, that's when we meet to select the national team. We need consistency. And that's why unapata Turkey, they are ahead of us in terms of performance, even Angola, because they have a league that goes on for a whole year. So every weekend, they play a match. And that means in a week, they train maybe 3 times in a week to be able to play on the weekends. For us, we just wait for tournaments. And if we can perform the way we performed in 2018, and we don't have a league, what if we had a league? It means we have potential to be world champions. We have potential to be African champions. With the support the government is trying to now give us. Okay. And I believe they are with us. We've taken our proposals to the government. Ambassador Amina Mohammed, she's very supportive. Yeah. They are very positive with us. They know we are capable of doing Kenya proud.
Yeah.
And if we get the chance to get into camp by 1st of November,
Yeah.
because I believe it's possible, just 3 weeks camp, let these boys, because most of them have never played together before.
Okay.
Mombasa, Kisumu, tumetengana. We need to come together, gel as a team, so that they know Dalmas ni right foot. You know, Munga in left foot. If I give him this kind of pass, he'll be able to get it. If nikimpatia a hard pass, itakuwa very. So we just need to come together and gel together, get the best coaches, because we believe now we are trying to get the likes of Akina Mariga close to us. We've been talking to the legends, Akina Musa Otieno, Akina Francis Kimanzi. They're very supportive and they're ready to come and bring the experience they have into our team. So that when we go to Tanzania, we are able to know how can we improve our game from the last World Cup. How can we become #1 in the world and beat Angola, because they're very good. And we need to be able to get a team that can beat Angola. And we have the players here. We have the talent. It's just about getting the support, getting the resources, getting the facilities, and the rest will be like, we'll come here and in an open bus tuzunguke town na kikombe yetu tupige sherehe okombe giniwaseka. So I think we will be in a better place, but we need the support of the government. We need the support of the corporates. Is it okay if I mention the sponsor who
I'm not sure, but as I try to confirm that, let me ask Agnes to give us her closing remarks. Agnes, just give us your parting shot for this conversation.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I believe if you can be having more of this, just to create awareness and tell Kenyans where we are in terms of sports for persons with disability, then we'll also be we'll be getting mileage on this.
Okay.
So mine is just to call upon corporates, when you see me on a wheelchair coming to your office, please just listen to what I have to say. If I have to share a budget, if I have to share a proposal, just listen to me or to other people from Paralympics. Other people, it might not be me, anybody that is coming for a request for Paralympians, let's support them. Let's see what they can, because I believe they are and they can do better when supported, and we can bring more medals. And just as we say, if we actually concentrate on this sport, we can be bringing up more medals than even the able-bodied.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agnes. And Dalmas, very excellent conversation, very comprehensive, of course, review that you've given. Lakini kwa sasa naomba utupe your final word for this conversation.
My final word is asante sana kwa Wakenya for the support they've given us throughout the years. It's not been a very easy journey. It's been a long journey, tiresome, and sometimes we feel like giving up. But they've stood with us in terms of even asking the government to support us. The government is very supportive as well, and we are very happy at the moment where we are. We are very sure we're going to Tanzania. And we are not going for anything short than victory. We're not going for anything short than the gold medal and the trophy, so that you can come here to Kenya. And then we can qualify for the World Cup in 2022, because we believe we can make it and we can go to the World Cup and bring the trophy back here. At least, waseme, kuna team ya ball imeleta trophy Kenya. Yes.
And I'm definitely looking forward to that. For anyone who is interested in what else you're doing, uko taki nini, can they find you on social media?
Yes. I'm on social media as Dalmas Otieno. If you go, you'll just see my profile photo as the dance photo. I'm on Twitter as Dalmas Otieno with a H. I'm not an Instagram person that much, but I still have an account. Also, you can follow us on Kenya National Amputee Football Team. We have a page where we like you to come and like the page and put down your comments, so that even when you go to Tanzania, we'll stream our matches live on that page, so that you can also support us through virtually. Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
And that is from the 26th of November to the 5th of December. You know where to follow those matches coming up, of course, as our national football amputee team represents Kenya and, of course, brings the glory, hopefully, back to Kenya and to the World Cup in 2022 that is in Turkey. That's where we leave it, by the way. What a wonderful discussion we've had. We've been talking about matters sports, especially for people who have living with disabilities. And I think my only message from where I sit is support, support, support. Many thanks to my guest this morning. Delmas Otieno is the captain of the amputee national team and with me in studio this morning, as well as Agnes Olwoch. She's the president of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee. Very, very, very great panelists doing very amazing things, which is what we should all do. On behalf of the entire team, led by my director, Diana, producer Jen, from me and the entire team, it's goodbye and God bless. See you next week.